9th of January, Media Center of Ukraine continues to work. My name is Svetlana Chipurenko, and now we will talk about possible consequences of weather, about cold weather forecast, how to prepare for these weather conditions, and we will start our conversation with the consequences of the enemy attack this night on Kyiv. We talk with Natalia, Ptukha, head of the Media Communication Department of Ukrainian Hydrometeorological Center, and Oleksandr, Khorunzhyi, spokesman of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. So, Mr. Oleksandr, another massive attack hit mostly Kyiv, was targeted Kyiv. We know that 5 emergency service workers have been injured, 1 medic killed. So what is the state of your injured colleagues? First of all, I would like to say that as a result of these massive attacks, 5 people died, 5 people have been killed, and 25 people injured. Mostly under attack, so enemy attacked mostly Kyiv and Kyiv region. If we look at the region of Kyiv, then almost 7 districts of Kyiv have been under attack this night. The mostly damages we observe at the left bank, Desnyansky, Darnitsky districts, and also Dniprovsky district as well. And during the elimination of the consequences of the strikes, of enemy strikes, it was a fire in one of the residential households, a multi-story building. The enemy carried out very low repeated attack on the same place. And from time to time, enemy is doing this. And of course, enemy does not have any principles. The enemy strikes because he can strike without any pity, without any principles on medics, on rescuers. Even though medics and rescuers, they don't carry any weapon. They just rescue the casualties, the victims of these strikes. And so as a result, we have 3 our rescuers, the rescuers of the 24 rescuing team. They are in a difficult conditions. So 4 in a difficult condition, in very difficult condition, in critical condition, and another 2 rescuers are in a more stable condition. So currently they receive medical treatment. In the previous days, such targeted strikes, enemy made such targeted strikes on Kryvyi Rih, Dnipro, Zaporizhzhia. What do you know about the situation in those cities, and what was the degree, what was the situation for the rescuing service? Likewise, today, in the previous days, those strikes, the enemy made the strikes mostly on the energy infrastructure and households, civilian objects, households of the population. Currently, in the Dnipropetrovsk region, the energy supply has been restored, and also in Kherson region, energy supply has been restored as well. In the beginning, almost 1 million of users were disconnected immediately after the strike, but now we have information that the supply already has been restored. The strikes already very, very difficult. Today we engaged over 500 rescuers people and over 100 pieces of equipment. We have built our reserves, and so that we could respond to any scale of events. But nonetheless, you can see the consequences: 5 dead, 5 killed people, and the medical plus 1 medical worker, medic from the ambulance. We can only send our condolences to all the families, of the close ones of people who were killed. And we should continue carrying out our duties. Thank you, Oleksandr. Now let's get to another topic of our briefing: the weather, which makes even the difficult situation even more difficult. So, Miss Natalia, can you tell us from where and continues to go this weather condition. I watched weather forecast. We have at least 1 week of serious frost, serious low temperature, some ice frosting, ice coating, snow and rain. And so what was the reason of all this, and when we should expect the weather to become any better? Yes, indeed, we now have the cyclone from the southwest. Yesterday in the morning it reached Ukraine, and it got its center in Odessa region, and now this weather is moving through Ukraine, and today it will be leaving the territory of Ukraine. The cyclone, this weather condition is formed when the hot air and cold air meet, and it forms this kind of weather that we have today. So when the hot air, which is on the top, and the cold air in the bottom, when they meet, then from the top precipitations fall, and which freeze from the bottom. And here we have this very slippery road conditions as a result. But at the same time, in the West, we experienced heavy snowfalls, flurries, and snowstorms. At the same time, in the south, we experienced rain and with above zero temperatures. So these are the weather conditions that we have today. And this cyclone, this weather condition, is now leaving Ukraine today. As we see, from tomorrow, the temperature in the western region will decrease, and it will be minus 13 temperature at night in western regions. So in the north regions and partially central regions, the temperature could be within the corridor of 12, 15, minus 12, minus 15, and we will experience some remaining parts of this weather condition of this cyclone. Also in the southeast, there is still some remnants of this cyclone, and we still should expect some precipitation during 10, 11 of January. We probably should expect some smaller cyclone in those regions, which will bring some mixed precipitation, sometimes snow and sometimes snow with rain, which will create ice coating. But the good thing is that next week, the low temperatures will reach southeast regions, and it's good that the frost will reach those regions when there is some cover of snow. It's good from the agricultural point of view. Snow, we experience snow cover in western regions, 20, even up to 35 centimeters of snow cover in some meteorological stations. And considering that yesterday in the majority of north and central regions there were preconditions for slippery conditions on the road, ice coating on the roads, this water did not disappear. And considering that we have a drop in temperature, all this water froze, and now we have ice coating, and now it's being snow falls on top of this ice coating, but you need to be still careful because the ice remains under the new snow. Now about the frost. The frost will, as of tomorrow, the frost will be spreading on all the territories of Ukraine. And the frost will keep until the 14th of January, especially western and northern regions of Ukraine. There will be very serious frost, especially at night, 14, 19, within the corridor of 14, 19 minus, and up to minus -20 in some areas. And then we will clarify the situation and will correct the situation, because the forecast can change within like 5 days range. And so we call on the media to responsibly treat such forecasts, because the responsible media yesterday found the information at the end like closer to the end of the decade, and they published some forecast, predictable forecasts, and they published those crazy, very low temperatures, scaring people. But I just repeat again that they are predictable forecasts, and they change. Usually they change within like 5-7 days. And so normally we should not expect very scary low temperatures, which some media tried to scare us with. So maximum, the total maximum, we should expect -20 in some areas. Thank you, Ms. Natalia. So as Natalia said, there was quite difficult weather conditions, especially in the western part of Ukraine. So what is the situation now on the roads? And there were state of emergency service engaged to this situation. I would like to correct myself. So we have 25 injured and 4 killed as a result of tonight's attack. Now going back to the not favorable weather condition. As of yesterday, Rivnenska, Volynska, Ternopilska Oblast, plus Kyiv region, our State Emergency Service of Ukraine, using special equipment, towed 123 transport vehicles, mostly large automobiles. And but there were also occasions when we had to evacuate ambulances, which also got stuck in the snow. But they needed help because they needed to get to the patients as quick as possible. But as I said, we have built a reserve in our equipment so that we could meet any challenges. We have graders, front loaders, evacuators, towers, snow equipment to go in a deep snow, which allows to go in a deep snow. And so thanks to these reserves of the equipment which we accumulated, we can carry out our work effectively. We also helped to tow automobiles, and we also created some heat-providing hubs for drivers. There are mobile heating points which we brought to the areas with large accumulation of different types of vehicles. And so we brought these mobile heating stations for drivers, for those large accumulations of equipment, of vehicles in Rivne, in Kyiv region, in Volyn. So we are ready to meet any unfavorable weather conditions. Today, we already towed over 25 vehicles, but I should say that today the situation on the road much better to compare with yesterday. Now using this opportunity, I want to address people who are on the roads now. I want to ask these people, please, before you go somewhere, especially in a long distance, please check the weather forecast beforehand, before you travel. This information is published on many resources. And secondary, the State Agency of Automobile Roads always provides information what areas are limited have limited passage. For example, we have now limitations in Zhytomyr region, in particular road M06 Kyiv, Chop, Lviv region, Volyn region. There are many limited highways, and so this information is published, it's openly available, so please check this information beforehand so that not to get stuck in the traffic jam. But if you happen to get in such a snow in a road jam, in this snow flurry, you need to be prepared, you need to feel full. Of course, you need to get your winter tires. Desirably, it's very good if you keep some spades in your car, some warm clothes, maybe some blankets. And if people got stuck in a snow, first you need to do is to turn on the emergency lights. You should not also leave your car to go away. You shouldn't go away from your car. If you have full tank with fuel, you can turn on the engine and heat the car and yourself. And I would say that also remind you that the emergency service numbers 102, 101, they 24/7, and so you can call rescuers. And when you travel under such difficult weather conditions, you should turn on the additional lights, and you should avoid making some sharp movements on the roads, because the roads could be slippery and such simple things could rescue your life. Now about safety on water. Currently, we have such difficult fluctuations, very large fluctuations of temperature. Has it led to some accidents? Yes, unfortunately, many people already died from the beginning of this year on water, on the bodies of water, among them one child. If we compare the statistics with the previous year, with the same period, in the previous year 10 people died, so there is a small tendency for improvement, but it could be temporary. And here again I would like to address especially parents. Please talk to your children, explain to them why they should not go on water in such weather. Just yesterday we had rain, and the frost is not stable, and the ice which was formed is quite thin. And just yesterday I watched the footage when our rescuers in dry suits, and they just walked on near the banks of the Dnieper, and they just showed how thin the ice is. And here I want to address fishermen. Now, please abstain from going onto the ice. There is not enough frost to be fishing on the ice, especially with a large number of people, with groups of people going on the ice. The ice should be 7-10 centimeters. So this is the recommended thickness, especially for, and if you go in a group of people on the ice, then the minimum thickness of ice should be 20 centimeters. Because there is always a risk when you go on water, on frozen water. And this year, from the 1st till 8th till 9th of January, our rescuers rescued 5 people. Those were people who could potentially drown. For example, just recently, a man and a woman were rescued in Kyiv on frozen water, and they fell under the ice, and they were rescued. But of course, we cannot forbid all people to go on ice, on water, and so I address all people. Please wait until the minus temperature holds out for quite a while. Then it's more safer to go on water. Thank you, Mr. Oleksandr. Maybe, dear colleagues, maybe you have some questions. I would like to question to Oleksandr. I would like to clarify about the safety on water. You said, unfortunately, a child died this year. Maybe you have some more context under what circumstances, so the parents couldn't manage to pull the child out of water. Maybe the child just wandered on themselves during the school time, and considering that we have winter holidays continuing, and considering, as you said, 7-10 centimeters of ice is quite reliable. So when we can expect such thickness of ice, considering the forecast? Here, I talk about prohibition, total prohibition of children being on ice, on water. If somebody wants to skate, there are skate rinks, but to go on ice in open water covered by ice, and what if you're asking me to give some recommendations of how low the cold temperature should continue to make it safe for children to go on ice on open water, I would not make any. I would not make any such recommendations. Especially boys, they're quite risky and they don't feel danger. So my position is that the children must not go on ice on open water at all. If any exceptions could be if these children they are accompanied by adults, because children unfortunately they cannot assess the situation correctly, and so this accident when the child drowned, it happened in the Kirovogradskaya Oblast in village Rubany. So the child was found dead in the water, 2013 year of birth. So our divers, they pulled the body of the child out of water. Probably, we don't know the circumstances, but probably the child went on ice and just fell under the ice. If there are no questions, I will thank our guests, and I will remind that we will discuss the weather conditions that we should expect and the consequences of weather conditions. And the media center continues our work next week, and our people, our team, preparing the schedule for the next week. So stay tuned with us.